The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
And good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, and quite a Monday morning we got. So China talks, they go pretty well. We got 30% for 90 days. That's the reprieve, and let's jump over to the headline. We jump over to the headline right now. Scroll up. Slash tariffs during 90-day reprieve, and markets accelerate. You better believe it, man. S&Ps. Now, that's a weekly. Let's jump to a 15-minute. There's your acceleration last night, and kaboom, you get the details, and we pop higher. We're trading right now up almost 3%, up 166 points right now at 58.44. NASDAQ 100, you're up almost 4% right now. Look at that acceleration, right? Futures last night, 20,400 on the open. You get that acceleration about 3 a.m. Eastern time on the actual details, and boom, we're sitting right now at about 20,900. You were almost 100 points higher at about 7 a.m. Dow up 1,000 points or 2.5%. 42,338, and you get the Russell up by 4%, 2111 right now. Everything's on fire. Bitcoin up $600. How about that crude contract, right? Up 3.5%, 63.17. If you need gas in your car, go out and get it because the price is going up at the pump. Now, we jump over to yields. The dollar, gold. What do we got going on? You got lower price and you got higher yield coming at you right now. We're looking at a 10-year. That's negative by 24 ticks right now. We're talking about a yield of 4.47. 4.47. You put this thing on a daily, and we're coming down to where we were on that exacerbated move, coming down to the 90-day pause. Yeah, we got lower price, higher yield coming at you. That is putting some strength into the dollar this morning. Look at that move, right? From 101.55 right now. The dollar... Yeah, not yesterday anymore. We'll move that one. 101.55, dollar up a full $1.20. You put it on a 15-minute. Look at that move. Kaboom. Now, we got 90 days. Doesn't mean volatility's out of this market, but boy, it's good they're talking. That's for sure. And yes, when you have that happening, you check out gold. Gold down 3%. We were all the way down to 32.11 right now. Take a look at this gold contract. Nice little double top. And boy, we come up. We tested on lighter volume, right? Price and volume, folks, to a T. Look at this, right? Gold contract. All right, gold has some work to do to consolidate here. Nothing wrong with gold on the longer term. There's still going to be uncertainty in this market. You're still going to have gold as a safe haven, okay? We got a lot of volatility still looming in this market, to say the least. The market now accepting a new kind of uncertainty that is looming, these 90-day pauses, right? But nonetheless, you got some resistance up there. You take a look at the daily, okay, and you have dramatic volume off the top. You're talking about, now this was right, April 22nd, 408,000 contracts, 367,000 contracts, and then you peak out at about 275 before we trade lower, and we just traded lower by $200 over the last, 3-4 sessions. 4 would be today. So gold pulling back off $100 right now. You jump over to silver. So look at silver, right? Look at this. Got to pay attention because what is going on? This is the first time I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time to start looking at silver because look how silver is holding up so well right now. You're only down by 0.2% today. All right. And, you know, if you're looking for some silver stocks, it's doing the gold report out. Yeah, look at this. Mag silver. Look at this thing. You're going to be up by, what's going on with silver right now? This thing caught a bid on Friday. All right. And you're going to be up by $2 on mag this morning. I hadn't even pulled it up this morning. I was looking at it yesterday when I was doing some charts. Hadn't even looked at it yet. You're up another $2. Now, the other strong silver stock, Pan American. Different story there, man. Look at that. I don't know what's going on. We'll break it down. But mag, one of the strongest silver stocks out there. Mag Silver, you check out the daily. Look at that thing. You're going to pop above the highs of where we were in October from mag. All right, and let's get over to the details. The combined 140% levies, they're going to be reduced to 30%. okay, including the rate tied to fentanyl by May 14th, the 125% side is going to drop to 10. So what do? They shave 115% off the top, right? You go from 145 to 130, you go from 120 to 110. You do it for 90 days, okay? And I think that, and this is Scott Bessent. It's not China saying it, okay? But I think China would say we do not want a generalized decoupling. And that's a good thing for the economy, at least, China is not an ally, and so it's going to be interesting to see how these negotiations go forward, where we don't want a decoupling, yet we want to change the dynamic completely. And that's the tough part when we get over it. The U.S. is going to do a strategic decoupling in terms of the items that we discovered during COVID were of national security. Do you really think that China is going to let us decouple from semiconductors, medicine, and components like steel? But let me guess, we're not going to decouple from rare earth minerals. Do you see how that gets difficult there? And listen, it's a great thing. Market's loving it. You can't deny the acceleration we're getting today, folks. Okay? There's going to be a lot of buy the rumor, sell the news into this, as in, boy, exuberance sky high right now. All right? Now, I do keep pointing out this area on this chart. 6,000 is going to be a point here. You buying? Yeah, this thing can run till 6,000. That's, we're up 170 points right now. 6,000 is only 150 away. And where were we? We're all the way up to 58.65 this morning. We're probably going to get big volume on a day like today, where we're coming into the opening bell up 3 to 4% across the board. But keep this area on your charts, all right? We're about price and volume here at TFNN. Keep this area on your charts, folks, because it's a lot of volume, and you're going to have to get through this entire area. And you basically been pushing up against this area. We're going to come into it today. We're right back to where we were basically on March 25th. We were at 58.02 on March 25th before the market rolled over for the second time. But this is the area when we had sustained volume for a period of about 3 weeks, and that area is from about February 25th or 26th up until March 14th. On the NASDAQ 100, that area matches up to February 27th to about March 14th, when you were doing 730,000 contracts plus a day. And for context there, folks, all right, I talked about this last week. We did 700,000 plus contracts almost. We did 694 on one day, every single day for like 3 weeks. All right, we only did that once in the span of like a month, right? The whole time since we got the 90-day pause, there's been no volume in this market. Now, what has my spikes up a bit on my back is we got to see how the volume's going to come in today. And it looks like it's going to be a decent number already. We got 15 minutes to go until the opening bell. We've already done almost 200,000 contracts, okay? On Friday alone, we did 450. We've already almost done 200. We're going to get some volume. But we have not seen any volume since April 10th. Nothing compared to this area. So, and that area started in the NASDAQ 100 at about 21,200, about 21,000. We're right there in the NASDAQ. Okay, the NASDAQ's gotten it all back, and we're going to get some big moves, man, in some of these equities in the NASDAQ. The S&Ps, that area begins at about 6,000, give or take. We'll see. Market's got a lot of strength today, man. That's for sure. We're coming back, folks. We'll take a look at some of the Magnificent Seven. Amazon shares. How about Amazon? You're going to be up by $16, 8% to the upside. We got action, folks. Stay tuned. We'll come right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and technique to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger Zen, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger Zen, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. You look at the run some of these equities are on. Boeing, and it's been, from a max pain situation to a max gain. From 130, we're going to be pushing 200 today on Boeing shares, and they're not even one of the big winners. They are a big winner. And Boeing, you think 200, 250's out there, man. This is quite a chart on Boeing, quite an accelerated trade to lower prices. 128, we're pushing 200. So Boeing, you're going to be up about $5. There's your action on the opening bell, but let's go over some of the biggest winners out there. How about Amazon shares? You're going to pop by $15, $16, we'll call it, to the upside to 209 from Amazon. You take a look at that chart, man, from 160, and now you're pushing 209, and we're right back to basically where we were, above the March 25th number. There we are. All right, Apple, another big one. You're going to pop $12 to the upside for Apple. You're trading from 198 to 210 for Apple shares. Some of the other equities, particularly vulnerable to China, Restoration Hardware. You're going to pop by what? $30? Now, this equity, man, you talk about it, right? Their gaps, Liberation Day, earnings, all the above. Remember that when you gap from 250? 250 on April 2nd. To 123 on April 4th. You could have bought this stock on 50% margin and lost everything you had in 2 days. Remarkable. Today, we're going to be right back to 225, which is almost the low. 235 is the lower boundary there of that bar. Nonetheless, Restoration Hardware, you're going to get a huge pop there. Best Buy, another equity that brings in a lot of action in China. You're going to be up by almost 10% on Best Buy shares this morning. Some of the other retailers as well. China stocks, of course, higher. Pinduoduo, JD.com, Alibaba. We jump around to a couple of them. Baba shares, there's a pop from 125 to 133. Pinduoduo from 110 to about 117 right now. And then you look at some of the resorts over there in China. Wynn, I'm going to be up about $4 from 87 to 91 right now. Wynn. And then we jump over to Las Vegas Sands. Yeah, LVS. Up a couple bucks to $41. We jump around to some of the other Magnificent Seven. Microsoft up almost $10, 2% pop. You got the NASDAQ 100 up almost 4% right now. Pretty remarkable. You got Microsoft up, $10, and you're underperforming the market right now. If that's the case, you jump over to MetaShares. There's a pop for you. How about $30 to the upside? MetaShares up 4 to 5% right now. Tesla's going to be a big one. Tesla up, $20, 6% almost for Tesla shares, trading from 300 to 321. You talk about some volatility, man. And yeah, we talk about those casinos. I hope everyone had a good Mother's Day out there. I was at the Hard Rock Casino with my mom. Got some good lunch, did a little gambling, broke even. Always feels nice to break even when you go to the casino when you're playing a negative expectation game. But yeah, those casinos in China, they're liking those details for sure. All right, let's jump around to some of the other equities this morning. So you get the news out there. Trump's going to sign an executive order. All these executive orders, right? You either love executive orders if you agree with the president. You don't if you don't agree with them. But usually you don't need all these executive orders. That's the worrisome part about, and that's where the courts and the judges and all that stuff. If all it takes is an executive order to lower drug prices, well, where's Congress? What's going on? Nonetheless, okay, you're going to get an executive order on Monday that's going to reduce prescription drug costs, as he says, almost immediately by 30 to 80%. We'll see if that plays out. But you jump over to equities like Eli Lilly. Yeah, on a day where the market's celebrating, Eli Lilly going to be down, $15? You're trading about $7.20 this morning right now. You were down to $6.93. Pfizer shares, they've been taking it on the chin. And yeah, it just doesn't stop. Look at this thing, man. Well, let's take this chart off there, huh? That one's ages ago. Whew. $61 down to $22 right now. We got a lower there at 21, but that is a tough one, man. You're going to be flat right now with a positive market. We jump over to Amgen, some of the other companies. Yeah, down a few dollars. Johnson & Johnson, yeah, they take a hit down a few dollars as well. We got to get those drug prices under control. That's for sure, man. All right, let's jump around to some of the car companies this morning. Ford, up about 30 cents. We got GM right now, up a couple dollars. We jump over to the home builders. Okay, this one's interesting. They're going to catch a pop with everything else, but you're only talking about $1.80 pop just with the market. This isn't causing a reprieve just yet because one of the things out there, right? We got to update that one. Or higher, folks. We're pushing 4.47 right now on the 10-year. We're negative by 24 ticks, and it's not slowing down. Okay, we're making lows in price, highs in yield. You got dollar strength out there, 101.50, and what I find myself thinking with the charts as well, okay, this is like a fundamental mix with a technical mix, okay? You look at that acceleration on the way down. We trade higher on light volume. We're accelerating again. I imagine today's going to be a big volume day across the board, okay? What if the first move was the right move, right? What if this lower price, and remember, folks, okay, we ripped lower by almost 9 full points from September until Election Day. And that was in preparation of some nationalist policies, some tariffs, okay, that could cause a little bit of higher yield. They could cause inflation. They could cause higher yield. They could cause a little dollar strength. Take out all the uncertainty that caused all the craziness in the market, and that's what it was trading on. Well, that's what's happening again right now, okay? And we are just at the beginning. And boy, if this is the move that is starting, they've been big moves, okay? There's nothing saying that the 10-year is not going to rip higher until 5% right now. That's where we were coming into Election Day. Nothing says we can't get back there, and we got a move going on today, that's for sure. We got the 10-year right now. All right, what are we pushing right now? Yeah, 4.46. 4.46 in the 10-year right now. All right. Over in Asia, Hang Seng up 3%, Nifty 50 up by 3.8%, Nikkei up by about 0.4%. Over in Europe, European stocks higher as well. You get the stocks up 1%, the FTSE up 1.6, CAC Roll up by 1.4%. 4%. So market's higher, to say the least. In 90 days, is that how we're going to do things from now on, though? That's where, man, it's like, okay, I say to myself, we got a market here. You can't deny price. Market's always right. Get you quite acceleration here. We're now bumping up against the lows of where we were on February 3rd. The NASDAQ 100 has now clawed back 4,500 points, folks. You're up by 30% from those lows. Expectations are going to get lofty again. That's the difficult part, okay? Buying at these lows? Yeah, that was a buy, man, okay? Hindsight, of course, always 20/20. But what's the impetus to get to the next level? Well, we're going to find out. We got the acceleration today. We're coming back for the opening bell. We're going to find out where supply equals demand, folks. Let's see where these equities open. We got the market on fire to the upside. NASDAQ 100 pushing 21,000. S&P's up by 173. Come right back, folks.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs? Trade wars? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento for the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We have equities open, and the S&P opens up exactly 3% to the upside. We're up 168 points at 58.45. NASDAQ 100, 3.75%, just like that to the upside. You talk about a move, man. Up by 750 points in the NASDAQ 100. The Dow up 1,000 points, up 2.5%, and we got the Russell up by 89. Going to be an important day. Do we get follow-through right now? We're going to get some volume, and yeah, we set the stage. Crude up $2.14. And we make those lows of near $55. We're accelerating higher to $63.16 right now. We got highs out there from late April of about $65, and that's going to be an important area. That $65 to $67 area, that's been the downside resistance, and we'll see if that turns into upside resistance as we come up to that level. And yeah, gold having quite a day to the downside, off $105 right now, trading at $32.39. And yeah, we're coming right into the lows of May. May 1st, we had a low out there of $32.48. We're actually, a low of $32.09. Yeah, we make a low of $32.09 this morning, $32.11. So within $2. Yeah, 3,200 is going to be an important point on gold, right? That was the high back there on April 2nd. We're bouncing off that area right now in gold contract. But boy, yields, dollar, so important right now. As we're watching those, you get some dollar strength. All right, we jump over to NVIDIA. So one equity we didn't take a look at as we were jumping through. NVIDIA shares up by 4.4%, $5 to the upside from 1 to 121. Remarkable when you look at the lows we had at $86. You're talking about a run of $35. It's almost a 40% acceleration from those lows. Check around some of the other equities. Amazon shares up by 8.4%. Basil making some cash today. They're all making cash. Tesla up by $16 or 5.5%. Microsoft shares. Yeah, look at that. Microsoft. Positive, but you talk about underperforming the market right now with Microsoft only up by 1%. Nonetheless, not quite as open to the business and volatility in China as some of these other equities out there. Apple shares up by 4.3%. A little bit of a give back on the open, though. Look at that. We just gave back $4 in a heartbeat on Apple. Amazon gives back a few bucks. S&P's up by 153. NASDAQ 100 just lost 100 points just like that. We're trading off. Yeah, we're trading up about 3.5%. Look at the volatility on Walmart. Walmart up by 0.4%. A little bit of a give back from just prior to the market there. We jump over to Target shares. There you go, up by almost 5% for Target. Disney catches a bit. Disney's been on quite a run. Disney up by 4% right now. Look at this run, right? From 80 to 110. You're up by $30 off the lows. We're back right where we were in the beginning of the year for Disney shares to 110. Talk about an acceleration recently for Disney. We check out some of the other streamers. Warner Brothers Discovery. There you go, up by 8% right now. Paramount up by 1%. Netflix shares down by 2.1% this morning. What's going on with Netflix that you're in the red right now? I don't know. Nonetheless, not reaping the benefits of what's going on in China. Not really a beneficiary of everything going on, it seems. All right. What else are we going to jump around? Take a look at it. And yeah, we talk about those drug deals. So Medicare to pay less than foreign countries do for drugs, they should at least pay the same and not pay more, right? This is where, of course, there's always the executive order for those drugs are going to direct the U.S. Trade Representative and the Department of Commerce to take action on what White House officials said are unreasonable or discriminatory policies that suppress drug prices overseas. Medicare is what they're going to talk about, okay? Facilitate direct drug sales to consumers at lower prices paid abroad and lower drug prices across the insurance markets. Well, how does that play out? We're going to find out. But nonetheless, we check out some of those drug companies. Eli Lilly, not bad. You're trading flat right now. Amgen shares up by 2% right now. Pfizer shares up by 2%. Not that bad. Tesla holding on to the gains. We're up by 6% right now. Yeah, Amazon up by $15. NVIDIA up by a solid 5%. All right. CrowdStrike up by 1.3% right now. If you jump over to this one, so this one's interesting, all right? So CrowdStrike, they've been in the press recently, whether you go back to when they shut down the internet. Was that all the way last July? It must have been remarkable. Yeah, right around there, right? where they had a coding error. Microsoft, they shut down everything. 200. Talk about a buy. You've doubled in share price since then. We're sitting at 416. But check out this one. CEO cuts his voting power by 92% with unexplained gifts. Okay, yeah. He's gifted $1 billion worth of his company's stock to undisclosed recipients. And the real key there is that his voting power went from 31% in 2022 to 2.5%. Now, that should be a risk for investors that like him at the top there, right? Yeah. He has a net worth of $3.2 billion, but that voting power, you see how a lot of these equity executives, Zuckerberg in particular, right? Super voting stock, right? Preserve the founders' voting power. Class B shares formerly held 10 votes each and made up a majority of the equity. Why would you give that away? Be careful of this equity, man. Yeah, and that is when last July they shut it down. I mean, hey, you always got to watch out when somebody just says, you know what, I'm taking my cash and I'm going home. I'm taking it off the table. Why would you do that? You're managing a business that is worth $104 billion. You have massive control of that company with 33% of the voting power. Even though you're only worth $3 billion, the company's worth $100 billion. You control a third of the voting shares. Why would you ever give that up? Well, maybe if you're moving on, maybe if you don't really care about it. They're classified as gifts, transferred in exchange for no payment, did not disclose the recipients, philanthropic foundations, individuals, trusts, other organizations. So, you got trust in there. He's got estate planning going on. He sold more than 200 million since September 22. That's not a drop in the bucket when you're only worth $3 billion. But why not diversify yourself? Anyway, I was reading this morning. I said, man, I don't know. If he's in the C-suite and he's looking at everything, the future is bright. Why would you ever do that? Seems like he's cashing out and diversifying a bit at these price levels over the last couple of years. And hey, once you reach $3 billion, man, yeah. And the difference between $1 million and $1 billion, I heard this recently, and I think it was literally a Joe Rogan meme, but it's, to comprehend numbers. 1 million seconds, right, is 11 days. You get that? 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. Almost 32. That's how much bigger that number is. 1,000 million. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets holding on to the gains, but giving them back slightly. Nonetheless, we're right back to where we were on that initial move higher. You pull back, S&P's right now up 143 points or 2.5%, but we are giving back some of those gains this morning. NASDAQ 100, we're up by 3%. You can't fault it, right? You're going in long in this market, man. You're taking your money on a short-term basis, potentially, as you get a pop like this to 21,000 from 20,000 almost, where we were. Yeah, you were sitting at 20,100, almost a 1,000-point pop in the NASDAQ 100, and we're holding on to those gains in the Dow right now. Russell up by 4% as well. Look at Walmart gives it back a bit. Let's check out some of the equities that were. Amazon shares, we give it back a bit, still up by 6.6% right now. Apple shares, they give it back as well, but up by 4.4%. Some of the other big accelerating stocks on this news, Restoration Hardware holding on to the gains. How about that? Up by 16.7%, up $32. Restoration, Best Buy is another big one, holding on to the gains, up by 10% right now, up $6.52. Yeah, as I was saying, jumping around to some of those home builders. Pretty muted reaction. Oh, no, there you go. Okay. KB, you actually get higher. All right, so hey, maybe this is Lennar, all right, the home builders catching a little pop. They've been in a max pain situation, man. Yeah, a little bit of a pop. KB up by 7% right now. Lennar up by 5%. DR Horton up by 5% as well. Keep our eye on crude. 62.96 right now. Yeah, we got gold down about $100 right now. And we keep our eye on that silver. Quite a little acceleration, man, off of those lows, right? Somebody was buying silver this morning, that's for sure, man. You drive to $32 and boom, just like that, you get it all back. And when you compare it to what's happening in gold and the dollar, silver, the stronger one right there. Let's jump to copper. How are we doing on copper? Copper trading a little bit lower. This is a 5-minute. You back this up on a daily. If you're trading copper, you know, this upper boundary here, 480 to the 520 area, resistance to the upside right now. You got copper trading basically down 2 pennies right now at 462. Yeah, you jump around to some of those copper stocks, man. So FCX up by 4.7% today. Now that, right? What was the other one I was jumping to? Southern Copper? How are we doing? I know what I want to look at. CCJ. No, CCJ. All right, we got a little bit of a give back. Yeah, this is a buy at 35. You know, you get down to this low, you ever get down there again? Not sure we're going to get down there again, but 45 is in the cards. CCJ up by 0.9% today. They make uranium. So if you're into a uranium play, put them on your radar for CCJ. Quite an acceleration from those lows of $35 out there. Not bad. The drug stocks don't even react when you get that type of news, right? Look at this. Pfizer's up 2%. Eli Lilly's flat right now. Amgen's up 3.4% right now. On the day the American president's going to sign an executive order that talks about their pricing, market doesn't even care. That's how much pricing power they actually have, in my perception. Okay. Then Bitcoin inching towards the all-time highs. We're at 104,000. We got as high as 106,270 this morning. You had highs out there of about 106. I mean, you look at this range. Yeah, we peaked out at 110, but this box out here that we put on here, basically the high at 106. Quite the acceleration from 75,000 on Bitcoin. You jump over to Ethereum, different story. You're getting quite an acceleration, but the haves and the have-nots, right? I don't know if we're going to see 4,000 again anytime soon on Ethereum. Nonetheless, up by 10% today for Ethereum. Yeah, you jump over to this one. So commercial real estate. Boy, you want like the biggest gem out there? How about One World Trade Center? You want to have an office on the 89th and the 90th floor? That's a beautiful view, man. How about that for an office? That's a rendering of an executive office at One World Trade Center's penthouse floors. Now, this building opened 8 or 9 years ago, right? When did they open? 10 years after it opened. The 89th and 90th floors are now available to the highest bidder searching for square footage in that commercial real estate market. And yeah, they're looking for about $160 a square foot for rent, which would blow anything else away. It would make sense if you're sitting at that area. 46,000 square feet of available space. Above helicopter view. Right? You're above where the helicopters fly. 95% occupied. I mean, you know, Class A office space, we know, right? And it doesn't get much more Class A than One World Trade Center, that's for sure. But pretty remarkable. They don't have those floors up, and now they're up, and I'm sure they'll sell them, man. Yeah, and until recently, right, a Chinese business center was set up to host companies interested in investing in the country. Never occupied. After years of empty conference rooms, okay, they abandoned their lease, and just above the 90th floor was taken over by broadcast equipment to help the news stations transmit via the building's antennas. Yeah. And technological advancements have shrunk the bulky equipment needed, freeing up half of the space for rent. Pretty remarkable. Took them 10 years. They clear out that space. They're ready to go. And how about China? Renting out a whole floor, not even using it for investment in the country. Yeah, but that is quite a view, man. You talk about an office space, but you're going to pay for it. $160 a foot to rent. Not bad. And yeah, extending the headlines from this morning. And yeah, buy America, man. Why not? But U.S., China, tensions easing. Now, I'm seeing a lot of, I think it was on Bloomberg, where they're just even saying, you know, the acceleration since Liberation Day. You know, don't go back to Liberation Day, folks, okay? Keep your eye on this volume area that I've been talking about on the chart. Brings you from late February to the middle of March, okay? That's where you want to benchmark what this thing has done. Don't go through Liberation Day where you cherry pick April 2nd, okay? The market had already traded down 10% when we came into that day on expectations. We're right back to this important area in the S&Ps, and we're right near the top of that range in the NASDAQ 100. That range in the NASDAQ 100 was this bar that began it all on February 27th, and we're now right in that bar. That's where we are. We got it all back. We're back to 21,000. That's quicker than probably anyone expected at 16,000 about a month ago. April 9th was the pause day. It's only May 12th, right? But keep that number on your head. 21,000 is where we began on the NASDAQ 100. We're bumping up against that. Look at all that volume we're going through. All right, we'll see where today goes. And you know, I imagine, all right, talking about these, yeah, you got a little bit of a downtick, but I imagine today is going to be another uptick, folks, okay? And how big is it going to be? We got 250,000 contracts in the NASDAQ 100 already. We're 20 minutes in the trading day. S&Ps, we've already done, wait, Forgive me. We've already done 540,000 contracts, over half of what we did on Friday already. Big time volume. Stay tuned, folks. One more segment. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. Markets holding on to these gains. We dip a little bit lower. We're catching a little bit of an acceleration. S&P is up by 15 points from where we were just about 10 minutes ago. NASDAQ 100, we're back by 700 points to the upside, 3.5% right now. Dow is up 1,100 points. And how about the Russell? Up by 4.2% right now. We jump around to some of the equities that are moving. Tesla up by 6%. Amazon's a big one, up by almost 8%. You got Apple shares up by 5%. Yeah, Restoration Hardware up by 17%. How about that one? Best Buy shares up by 9%. Excuse me. You talk about accelerations everywhere in this market. And yeah, some of the Chinese stocks, Alibaba up by about 7% so far this morning. We jumped to Pinduoduo up by 8%. There you go. Baidu shares up by about 4%. Yields chopping around. Dollar sitting at about 101.55. Keep your eye on yields in the dollar because, boy, seems like we got lower price, higher yield, dollar strength. Everything that was happening from September is right now it's back, and we'll see if that trend holds. And what happens in another 90 days, right? I mean, that's where things get a little dicey. And yeah, the market's pricing in a lot of optimism right now, and we'll see if that plays out. But the 90 days are coming. You know, we're already, 33 days past the first 90-day reprieve for everybody. So within 2 months, we're going to have that deadline. We'll have another one for China. And the market will take those on, and we will see. Yeah, Boeing just digesting some of these gains, man. From 130 up to 200, Boeing shares actually down 0.6%, right? Up 0.6%, but giving it back. And Walmart shares flat right now. On a day, you got retailers accelerating higher. Target up by 6%. How about that? TJX up by 1.2%. There you go. There's a dog catching a bid. Kohl's up by 12%. All right, folks, thanks so much for kicking off your trading day right here at TFNN with the Morning Market Kickoff. Stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman. He's coming up next with the Tiger Technicians Hour. He's in that Tiger's Den, growling and prowling. He's ready, folks. Have a great Monday. Live programming after that. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, folks. Have a great one, folks. Thanks so much.